Okay, so in this clip, we're going to go over both Cam Smith and Joey Porter's ability to turn their heads back around when it comes to playing the ball in the air. And there was a corner coming back. I don't know how far back you guys have been following, but his name was Milner. Okay, he's coming out of Alabama. Everyone's like, he's going to be top 5 pick. He's going to be great. He's going to be A, B, C, D. When I watched his film, something I noticed consistently was due to his lack of speed, acceleration, ability to keep up with the receiver, he was never able to turn his head back around to play the ball in the air. To me, that says two things. One, you're going to be too slow in the NFL if you can't do it in college. And two, you're going to get burned consistently. Because to me, that means someone who's played, right? When you know you're going against someone that's faster than you, you're just running for your life. You're trying to catch your breath. You're trying to get every blade of grass, like gain steps on the guy. Because you're exerting so much energy just to keep up, you don't care what's happening behind you. I mean, you do care, but your number one goal is don't get beat, don't get beat, don't get beat. He's gaining on me, right? Or putting distance on me. Now, when it comes to these two guys, you don't see that. They are stride for stride next to the receiver, and once they're playing the ball in the air, this is what I'm talking about. Where they look huge compared to the receiver. They overpower the receiver, and they always turn their head back around and deflect it. So first, we're gonna go with Cam Smith. Look at this play. Top left corner. I mean, he got away a little bit with the jersey pull, but it was after the fact. So I'm going to do this in slow-mo for you guys to look at what I'm talking about. So you see how stride for stride he's with them. His head's already turned back. Because of his speed, acceleration, and physicality, he's able to keep up with him. So when the time comes, he turns his head around and deflects it. Watch it from this angle. He does just enough. In the NFL, you're going to get called for that, depending who the receiver is. But let's go to Joey Porter. Okay, so for Joey Porter's, it's kind of a quick comp of several times of him turning his head back around and deflecting the ball. So this is basically just showing you what I'm talking about, which is consistency is what I look for, right? Common thing, common characteristic traits, common abilities, common whatever else you want to throw into it. This is what you look for when you're trying to evaluate a player. Let's check this out. Always turning his head back around. It's just consistent. Okay, so when I see him do that throughout his college career, I'm feeling a lot more comfortable with him. At worst case, just getting by in the NFL where he can contribute. Worst case scenario. Best case, he's going to be great. Milner, hate to bring him up again, but he went top 10 to the Jets and he was a flop. When I watched his videos and he's consistently not able to turn his head back around, that tells me something at the college level, let alone pros. So let's go back to Cam Smith's next one. We're just going to get straight to it. This is a deep ball. You got the speed, the acceleration, and ability to now go deep, right? Keep up the receiver. But on top of that, we're going to do this one in slow motion. Look how, he's turned his head around. Look at this. His head's already turned around right here. Let's say that's the 27-yard line. The ball arrives at the 16. I think that was 16, yeah. Or 15-yard line. He's got his head turned around 12 yards before the ball gets to the receiver. Okay? So that means almost 15 yards ago, he's already comfortable with where he is position-wise. He's already comfortable matching up with his receiver stride for stride. He's not concerned about it anymore. Now he turns into a receiver, not a DB anymore. You're focused on being a DB on a deep ball when you're kind of still just praying you're catching up the receiver. When you're outrunning the receiver and doing all that, you turn to receiver at that point, because now you're no longer concerned about him, because you know you've got him beat physically. What do you want? Positionally, tactically, whatever you want to throw in there, you know that you've dominated that scenario. So that should be it in terms of those. Let's go to next. Now, I like this video because you get to see up close how Joey Porter turns his head around and plays the ball. So watch it again. We'll do slow motion. What did he do? What does he do? He looks at the receiver, sees his head. I don't know why corners don't do that as much. The receiver's eyes and head is going to tell you everything you need to know. Once he looks up, you know the ball's in the air. So that's a sign for you. That's your cue. Turn your head around, play the ball. Forget the receiver at this point. So he turns, if you see it right now, his head is looking up. So he starts turning his head around. And now gets a full mitt on the deflection. Not a fingertip, not the full mitt. Give it a few years and he'll haul that in for a pick. That's what I'm looking at. So these next two videos are going to be unrelated to the previous ones in terms of playing the ball and all that stuff. So this is basically this Cam Smith displaying his fluid hips. Something that I harp on a lot in many sports, not only football, but in soccer as well, or football for the rest of the world. Cornerbacks, midfielders, center backs, wingers, in basketball too, right? Guards. You need fluid hips. Fluid hips is quick twitching hips where you could go left, right, lateral, 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 right? Change your footwork. Look at Cam Smith right here. So in slow motion, you're going to see, I'm going to point out what I'm looking at. So he's backpedaling, right? So you see how right now, his, what do you call it? His feet are facing, let's call it, for the sake of this video, south, right? Look how quickly he'll flip it around. So now he's going north, right? He quickly went north. Now when you have the player breaking the pocket, now it's not a pass anymore, because he's able to do those quick twitches. He can, because now he's seeing the field because of the second twitch, he's going to be able to come and make a play, or try to make a play, worst case. Right? He would have leveled the guy out right there. But those are the small details I look at to see big picture. Is this player going to make an impact on my team or in the NFL? Let's go to Joey Porter's last video. So this is something I talked about earlier in terms of one of his weaknesses. It's when it comes to the press. I'm just going to let the video play and then we'll talk about it. So does he deflect the ball still? Yep. Made a great play? Yep. Prevented a first down and a big play? Yep. Great. But I see this a lot, and in the NFL this won't work, because so that was kind of a half-ass hands on the receiver. Like I said, I don't know if the scheme says press him, get your hands on him, and he's struggling with it, or it's, hey, get close enough where the receiver thinks you are, but don't do it. Because I've never seen something like this. It happens a lot with Porter. So then, here's the thing. In the NFL, this receiver is probably about here because of the speed and quality of the players, right? I'm not saying this guy's not a good player. I'm just saying the NFL, the receiver would have probably another half a yard on him due to speed. So what does that tell me? That tells me if now the receiver's about here and the ball's thrown here, he's gone. It's either a touchdown or a massive play. So that does worry me. Um, Obviously, in this scenario, he makes a great play to deflect the ball. But in the NFL, he wouldn't have been able to deflect the ball because the receiver would have had that extra half a yard step, right? Joey Porter wouldn't have been able to keep up with that half yard step. Sorry, Joey Porter Jr. wouldn't have been able to keep up with that step. Therefore, completion, big play. So this is something to keep an eye on. Still made a great play in the college level, but something that he needs to figure out in the NFL level. And hopefully it's not something that ends up biting him, where receivers start noticing this and they start running slants. Teams run slants. Coaches and offensive coordinators, if they pick this up, hey, this is his weakness, what do you think's going to happen? Someone like Waddle, oh man, he would have feasted. Waddle would have had probably 2-3 yards, if not more, right here. So if you're gonna press, you got to get your hands up and you got to let the receiver know you just freaking pressed them. But regardless, good play for the college level. But something I want to see work. All right, everyone. So that sums up this video. As I told you, I was just going to go over a couple of their traits. I think both players are going to have a great NFL career. I'm excited to follow both as well. As you know, Joey Porter Jr., 32nd overall pick, so there's going to be a lot of pressure on him to perform immediately. That team, the Pittsburgh Steelers, are in need of corner help. So I will be keeping a close eye on them. I'll make some podcasts down the road showing their progress and highlights, things like that. Same with Cam Smith. Cam Smith is in a better situation in terms of he doesn't need to come in and perform day one. He's got great players ahead of him, so they could gradually bring him on. I don't think that's going to be the case. I think he's going to be thrown to the fire quickly. I think he's going to adapt well. There's already word that I've received is he's already been killing it during the practices they had a few weeks ago. So I'm expecting the same. I'm expecting it to actually pick up come end of July for training camp and preseason. So again, thanks for tuning in. Hit that subscribe button, everyone. Comment, like, follow me on Twitter at Edwin'Sphere. Any feedbacks you have or suggestions, shoot them my way. Let me know. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Ciao.